Project F-150. So here we purchased a truck. It's mostly for using it in our house. Here's my dad washing it. It's the first day we got it. So here I took out the seats, just removed 4 bolts, took the seat right out. I got like $2.25. It's really cool. Here's the old seat. So right now I'm taking out the blower motor resistor because I learned that it failed. So I just needed to replace it because I was only getting setting number 1 and 4 on the AC. Here's the old and new one. As you can see, it's pretty bad. So now I'm just testing it with a piece of paper. Now I have setting number 1, which I didn't have before. Number 2, it's good. Number 3, it's good. And then finally number 4, very powerful. Now brakes. So here's me before having all my tools. This is just a breaker bar that came with the truck. It's just me struggling. It was really tough. I think the torque is like 140 foot-pounds. So I had to put all my weight on it. Eventually I get my own breaker bar and impact, but I was stuck doing this. I think I just gave up after this.
Oh.
And the top one's the new brakes and the bottom are the old brakes. And here's us just trying to take off the brake rotor. You need to take off the spindle nut. I didn't have a breaker bar, so I used my torque wrench because we needed the leverage. It's really tough, really stupid. Never use a torque wrench. So here is us fake sliding it off as if we just took it off because I told him I wanted to record it. But as you can see, it's really scorched. It's not good. Scorching is when it's being burnt with little particles right in between the brake pads and the rotor. And my dad's noting that there's some lip on it too. So that's why it was hard to take off the brake pads. So we're going to be replacing this rotor.
Brake cleaner.
So now I'm just spraying the spindle with some brake clean just to make it clean and remove all the old grease. The truck's been sitting for a while, so it's bad. Now I'm just wire brushing off the caliper bracket, just prepping it for some paint. And now I'm doing the caliper itself. And now I'm going to be spraying it with Trim Clad Rust Reformer. It's like a spray paint that just converts the rust into a paintable surface, it says, and it just acts like a nice primer so the paint won't fall off.
Just gonna paint it. I'm not a professional painter. That was pretty bad.
I did like 2 or 3 coats of this.
It'll look good.
So now I'm using some engine enamel red. It's good for brakes because it has a really high heat resistance and brakes get really, really hot. Here's the final product. And now I'm just doing the rear brakes. They're easier because they were smaller. And the brake pads weren't even worn out that much, but we're still going to replace them because we have no idea how old they are. And now I'm just taking off the rotor. Sometimes they get stuck, so you just need to hit them with a hammer so it can vibrate the rust loose, and you just pull it off. Really simple. Look how huge it is. There's spider webs in the brake system too. And now we're just going to be bleeding the brakes to release the air in the brake lines, which is very important because you don't want the air to condense, which leads to a spongy pedal and reduces your braking. So now we're doing the 2-person method where I'm just going to be opening the valve, and my dad presses on the pedal and it just releases the air and old brake fluid, and then I just close it and we repeat until all the air is gone. and the trouble begins. Now suspension. So here's me holding the old shock. Here's the old shocks, they were pretty big. Here's the new shocks. I don't know why I didn't record the installation. But now I'm doing the ball joints because the wheels would rattle. It was really unsafe because you could fly off the road. So I'm just using some penetrating oil. I really recommend this brand. Then I needed to take out the snap rings out of the ball joints. I just used snap ring pliers. Took it out. And these ball joints were really bad. So you can see it's really loose. Should not be easily like that. So we're going to be replacing the upper ball joint and the lower one. We originally thought it was just the lower one, but this is what a good ball joint should look like. So we're not going to be replacing that one.
And it turns out that I'm going to have to change this whole control.
So here's all the suspension, the upper ball joint and the struts. Just lay them out in a nice pattern, just so I remember where everything went. And now my dad is figuring out how to use the press because I got really upset because it was not working for me. I broke a ball joint, so that was $80 down the drain. I got really mad, so we had to wait a day just to cool down and figure out how to do it. And we eventually did it right. Now here's the shock installation. Again, just some penetrating oil. Spray the bolts. And you just need a 15mm socket and a 15mm wrench. You just impact that first bolt out and make sure to hold the nut in the back with the wrench. And it'll come right loose. So you're just going to put the socket like this.
And then the wrench on the other. Just take out the nut and leave the bolt in.
Now just remember to the bottom one and it just falls out. I left the top bolt so it wouldn't fall everywhere, so just remember to take out that top bolt and you're done. And here are the old versus the new. The old ones are of course dirty, new ones clean. As you can see, I'm just kind of measuring it. You should always measure your parts to make sure that they are the same part for easiest installation. As you can see, it's a bit shorter. Shouldn't really matter that much. But the old ones are plastic and the new one's metal, so it should add some more structural. And now I'm just showing you how easy it is to push down the shocks. It should not be that easy. As I'm showing right here, I cannot push it down with one hand. Extremely hard. That's how it should be. And just the other one, even easier. And it's taking a really long time to reset. And I think I'm going to be pushing all my weight onto this one, yeah, just to compress it. Look how much faster it's expanding. It's exactly what you want.
That's how it should be. So now we're just going to install it. Okay, so you're gonna
now I'm installing it. You need to be really careful with this. You need to just compress it first, fit into that first bolt, bolt it up, and then make sure to do your bottom one. But you need to be really careful because I almost lost a finger doing this, but that was just being stupid.
Kind of just put it straight down, just so you're able to get it to the bottom. And just make sure you line up the holes like that. It might be a bit harder because of the bushings, but if you just press really hard, it'll slide in.